TNN Motorsports proudly presents live exclusive coverage of the ACDelco 500 from the North Carolina Motor Speedway near Rockingham. Dale Earnhardt. Should he gain 50 points on Rusty Wallace today, the Winston Cup championship is his. NASCAR has advanced the starting time and they have already fired the engine. So without further ado, let's proceed straight to the diehards starting grid for today's race. On the pole, Ricky Rudd, new track record, 16th career pole. Terry Labonte makes his first front row start since '91. Jeff Bodine and Derek Cope with his best effort of the year in row number 2. Brett Bodine and Morgan Shepherd, Ford Burton and Rick Mast in the 4th row. And as we scroll through the starting grid and they begin the pace laps, let me introduce to you the 2 experts that'll call today's race. Buddy Baker, a 2-time pole winner here, and came within 4 laps of victory on this track. He's finished second here twice. David Pearson, 5-time pole sitter and 5-time winner at Rockingham, clinched the 1966 National Driving Championship at this track. And David, imagine that's no easier a task to do today for Earnhardt than it was for you then.
I don't believe it's quite as easy now as it was back then, because Earnhardt has got some tough competition out there, and I'm telling you, with this track the way it is, new surface and everything, everybody's going to be running as hard as they can. You know, there's not even a second difference between first place and last place, so they really some tough competition out there.
Buddy, yesterday's race was punctuated by 11 caution flags for spins and crashes and a lot of attempted 3-wide racing that didn't work out real well. We're going to see that today.
We're definitely going to see it, but the bad part is you got so much grip on this racetrack that you start off in the corner 3 wide and there's just not room for 3 cars to make it into the corner right. You have contact getting in the corner, you have big wrecks. So these guys really have to watch themselves in the first part of this race.
We're just a lap away from going green, and today you'll be riding with Mark Martin in the Jack Roush Valvoline Reese's Ford. Martin won yesterday's ACDelco 200, races from 10th starting spot. Cleaning the tires is Jeff Gordon in the Rick Hendrick-owned DuPont Finishes Chevrolet. Also Jeremy Mayfield driving for Cale Yarborough in the Fingerhut Ford, starting way back in '39. We'll be riding with him. And with Derek Cope in the main and tail, Bobby Allison Motorsports Ford. Best career start, 4th for Derek Cope. Or best season qualifying effort, that is, as you see him behind Ricky Rudd and Terry Labonte on the front row. The light is out atop the Pontiac safety car, so we are going racing at the Rock.
Boy, I tell you, it's going to be exciting. One thing they haven't had is a lot of sunshine this week. It's been overcast. Today the sun is out, and I think you're going to see a loose condition on some of these cars. I was talking to Harry Gann about yesterday's race, and he said he adjusted all day. He'd go from extreme loose to extreme push in corner.
Gann had a fine run, but came up short of victory lane. This is Harry Gann's final home state appearance. Here at Rockingham, you'll have our TNN 800 number to call in your questions all day long. The call is free, 800-451-7331. They'll take your calls in Nashville and relay them to us here in the booth. And we'll pass along questions to pit road or wherever need be to get them answered for you as our telecast goes on. 3 races to go in the 1994 Winston Cup season, and about to begin, Ricky Rudd in the Rudd Performance Motorsports Tide Ford brings them down to the green and gets a bit of a jump on Terry Labonte. Rudd clears Labonte and has the track all to himself going into turn number 1. Front 5 are single file, then Morgan Shepherd battles off the corner with Steve Grissom. Ricky got a good jump.
He really did. Of course, you know, the other guys is all right there, and he knows that he can run right on the bottom.
You see Jeff Bodine making the move right now to get in second place. He's been very fast in practice. For some reason, when he does not sit on the pole, he runs better in the race. I don't know what it is, but Jeff Bodine is definitely on the way, and you see Terry Labonte dropping back a little bit.
Jeff Bodine came from 18th to win North Wilkesboro. There's Labonte right ahead of Brett Bodine in Quaker State Ford. Pretty much single file all the way through the top 20 spots as you look back from Derek Cope's 4th place car. Rather 3rd place car.
You know, Mike, you always hear Jeff Bodine's on Hoosiers and Ricky Rudd's on Goodyears, but let me tell you something. Jeff Bodine's probably one of the better race car drivers on this whole circuit, and it don't matter what tire he has on there. That's a great race team and a great race NASCAR is a good driver.
Nobody wins on just because of their tire brand. There are a lot of cars here on Hoosiers. This is the one that's been winning. Jeff Bodine takes the lead from Ricky Rudd.
You know, if you watch him come off that corner, number 2 corner there, he has got some horsepower in that car. Watch him, he just pulls away from Ricky puts straight away.
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of people today, Mike. At the first part of this race, it's a guess, show and tell type of thing. Everybody's kind of waiting to see what happens on the adjustments they make on their cars. They didn't have a lot of practice here, so whoever leads right now does not mean that's going to be the outcome of the race by a long shot.
A lot of clouds here. Turn 1 is bathed in sunshine. The rest of the track is shaded.
Look at Derek Cope coming up here trying to get by Ricky Rudd. That's a good effort by Bobby Allison's team. This team has struggled. They've had a lot of collisions this year, but that car is really flying right now.
They've restructured that team a bit. Ron Zook, who bought the late Davey Allison's Busch team, is now a co-owner. Nathan Sims, Frank Plessinger, and Bobby Allison with that team. So they've done a bit of restructuring. They have mane and tail shampoo and hoping to hang on to them as a sponsor for next year. You're watching from Derek Cope's car. Back at pole sitter Ricky Rudd now in 3rd. Go back and pick up the championship battle. There is Dale Earnhardt. He is presently 18th. Right behind Jeff Gordon and Joe Nemechek, and Rusty Wallace is at the front of that pack in 13th position.
You see Earnhardt making a move on the outside there. No matter what he's going for, I don't care if it's for title or for win, he makes moves on a racetrack a lot of people don't even want to think about doing.
But you notice, buddy, he waited a few laps to find out just exactly that he got straight in line. Then he started knocking them off one by one on that outside. Right now, it's a little bit early for cars to start running 2 and 3 abreast in the corners. Right
now, Ricky Rudd's in trouble. He's on the outside of the racetrack, and the preferred line today seems to be right on the white line through the corner, and he's losing position after position right now.
Rudd the pole sitter. Brett Bodine goes past. Morgan Shepherd gets underneath. That's a long single file line. It's going to be tough to drop in there and get back single file.
Yeah, and that 6th car you seen in that last shot yesterday, he made winning look awful easy. Mark Martin knows this racetrack. He knows how to adjust his car. He's going to be a tough act to follow today.
Ricky Rudd's called in to Bill Engel on the radio, says the car's quite loose.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful this early in the race. You're going, I could use a caution. I just don't want to be it.
Well, I expect he is kind of loose running that high as he was running right then, because there are a lot of sand on this racetrack, especially this early in the race, and the groove is right at the bottom.
We didn't get time to get down to the starting grid before today's race. Let's get some pre-race strategy thoughts from Randy Pemberton.
Well, a lot of these teams scuff tires. That means they put a few laps on them, then let them cool down on Friday and Saturday. Thought that might help the tire wear here. Buddy Parrott, crew chief for Rusty Wallace, told me we didn't scuff any tires. We planned to win this race. But really, that was just a segue for what I want to tell you. It was reported in the Charlotte Observer, one of the Bibles in the South, here this week, that Buddy Parrott will leave Rusty Wallace's team at the end of 1994. Hard to believe after winning 18 out of 58 races here in the last 2 years. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, Randy, I'm down in Dale Earnhardt's pits, down the #1 pit. They've actually got 2 pit spaces down here. They only pit 26 cars on the front stretch. Earnhardt's crowd has 2 pit spaces. He'll never get caught in the pit. I can tell you one thing for sure. Nobody on this team is going anywhere except for New York as the champion. Richard Childress and Andy Petree both told me they were going to basically take what the race will give them early on, kind of fill things out. They got a long way to do that, a long day to do that. If Earnhardt can charge front and run up front, he'll do that, but they're just going to take it as it comes right up front. They said they can adjust the car easy way to stroke or to charge. They're just taking it as it comes right now.
Well, Glenn, he's not just riding around. Earnhardt started this race in 20th position. Trouble turn 2. One car spins up toward and smacks the wall. Billy Standridge in the World Championship Wrestling, number 47.
Boy, oh boy, was he ever lucky. You talk about doing the right thing. He held the brakes, and there was about 8 or 9 cars went on the flat to go by him. If he'd have let loose on the brakes, there'd have been a multi-car pile up there.
Show you what happened here to Billy Standridge to bring out the first caution flag at lap 13.
Well, he just backed her in the wall. Now watch him come down here, and you see the cars making evasive action right here on the bottom of the racetrack. He checks up right here and stops the car. Well, we're away from it there, but he stopped on the bank. If he'd come down on flat, it'd have been a big wreck.
Said on the quarter panel, Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. I think the Hulkster got the worst of that one. We're under the first caution of the day at Rockingham. We'll be right back. 9 out in front. Derek Cope has gone to second place. Terry Labonte's running in third. And Ward Burton, who started 7th, has moved up to 4th.
Yeah, and Rick Masters moved up to 5th. Good run for Rick. Good to see him running well. He's had so many good runs this year and had problems right near the end of the race. But he says he thinks he can win this race. His car is really hooked up.
Pole sitter last fall at Atlanta, driving for Richard Jackson in that Skoll Ford. Here comes Ward Burton with a look at Terry Labonte.
You know, that's a backup car that Ward Burton's running. He crashed in practice the other day, and they rolled the car off. And I said, what kind of car do you think it is as far as a backup car goes? And he says, well, you won't believe this, but it's the car we really wanted to fix and didn't have time to fix it. So now we have time to fix it and get it ready for the race.
Ricky Rudd continues to backslide. Greg Sachs had a look underneath, nothing there. As you look up toward the front, and Burton again goes after Terry Labonte. Both Chevrolets, but Labonte's on Goodyears and Burton's on Hoosiers.
I think you just seen a 21-year-old move right there. And I tell you what, Ward Burton is hooked up, and he had that timing down where he was within inches of touching Terry Labonte. But, you know, one nice thing about young eyes, they see things that sometimes a little bit older guy wouldn't do.
Here's Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt right behind him, 11th and 12th. David, one thing we're seeing is drivers timing the pass coming off the corner instead of trying to jam into the corner two abreast.
That's true, Matt, because right now, like I said, the groove is right on bottom, and what they're trying to do is get their speed up, running right on bottom, and just catching them just coming off the corner. And when you do that, if you can come off, go through the corner fast, you can go up straightaway fast. So that's what they're doing all the passing up straightaway.
Well, what it is, I mean, it's just like at Darlington. A lot of times making a pass going in the corner in 3, there's Greg Sachs getting up under Terry Labonte. I mean, Ricky Rudd, and had a little contact there, but I would just say hey and goodbye. But you can see Ricky certainly has a handling problem. He's going right back through the crowd. Looks like Dale Earnhardt sitting there just watching Rusty and saying, well, I'll just keep you right in front of me, and we'll do this thing, and if you go by one, I'll pass one. That'd be a nice way to be going for the national championship, just sitting on the guy that's trying to catch his back bumper.
Dale Earnhardt must gain 50 points to clinch the championship today. And in the wall is Loy Allen in the Hooters Ford. Turn 2, everybody's going to get past without incident. But turn 2 collected Billy Standridge at lap 13. Now 10 laps later, the caution's out for the second time as Ward Burton spins in turn 2.
I hate to see that, because Ward, he worked so hard and run so good here. So I hate to see that.
Loy Allen bringing out this second caution flag. And
we're going to get a look at it here.
Look.
You see Loy's in trouble right there. He's backing towards the wall. He hits really hard there, but he has the presence of mind now. When he starts down the racetrack, he puts the brakes on and does not run towards these cars that are trying to come by him. See him sitting there. If you'll stay still, they'll get by you.
Instead of damage they'll have to repair on the Hooters Ford among the car. We certainly expect Ricky Rudd to be in on this caution, and here he comes. They're still working on Billy Standridge's car, trying to get him back in the race after that first spin, and now here comes Rudd down pit road to correct a loose chassis condition.
And you'll see him go with the weight jacker to the back of the car and really work on that thing to tighten it up.
Let's have a look. Here's Glenn Jarrett in Ricky's pit.
Okay, thanks, Mike. I was just checking with the crew chief, Billy Engel. He says they're going to take a rubber out of the right rear to soften that rear spring up, try to make it get a little better bite. Obviously, they're going to take advantage of this also to change 4 tires. They've got the right size done coming around to the left now, but no wedge change, just taking that rubber out of the right rear. That should do the trick. That car was awfully loose. You can see it. He could not carry the car in the corner at all. He's down and away.
Rudd, the pole sitter and track record holder, back on track after an early stop. We'll be right back to Rockingham Live on TNN after this.